Hey y'all, welcome back to Crime Time with Mal. My name is Mal. In case you have never seen me before, hi and welcome to my beautiful true crime community. I hope you like what you see and decide to subscribe to my channel. If you are not new and you've been here before, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate all y'all's support, likes, shares, comments, all of it. Y'all are amazing people. Today's video, y'all, there's a lot, and I'm sure y'all have heard about Gabby Petito. Her and her boyfriend, fiance, went across country on a van life journey and filmed their whole experience on YouTube. And she went missing September 11th. I did hear about this on September 11th. That day we were out and about, me and my mom, for my daughter's 13th birthday, and I was engulfed then on it. Me and my mom and I were talking about it all the time, and it just kept going and going from there. And first and foremost, I do want to say my heart goes out to Gabby's friends and family, her parents. Like, they seem like the sweetest people ever, and they're so thankful for the coverage that Gabby has gotten. And let's be honest, without that coverage, we might not have found Gabby. So my heart goes out to them, and I can't imagine what they're going through. I mean, to send your daughter off with their boyfriend, fiance, and then they're across country and not hear from them. Gabrielle Petito, Gabby, was 22 years old. She was beautiful, absolutely stunning, with these bright blue eyes, blonde hair, and bubbly personality. She was from New York and had a few tattoos, one being "Let It Be" on her forearm. And she was an inspiring vlogger. She had her own YouTube channel called Nomadic Static, where Gabby and Brian decided to film their journey across country in their van. So Gabby had a 2012 white van that they converted into a really cute camper and traveled across the United States, visiting national parks, staying at unregulated campsites. Now, Brian Laundrie is 5'8", about 160 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, and a little bit of facial stubble. Now, him and Gabby actually met in high school in New York, at their hometown. They have been dating for roughly about 2.5 years, and then they decided to get engaged July 2020. And in 2019, Gabby and Brian left their hometown of Blue Point, New York, and decided to go move to Florida to his parents' house, Brian's parents' house. The two loved to travel. They visited Georgia Appalachian Trail. They visited all kinds of places, and this was actually not their first time traveling across country. They have done this before, so Gabby's parents felt comfortable with them. You know, they know Brian. Gabby's dad, you know, he did say that he wasn't fond of a lot of Gabby's boyfriends. He was a very overprotective dad, but like most dads are, he didn't have any warning signs with Brian. They headed off on their journey and filmed everything for YouTube. From the looks of her Instagram, his Instagram, that YouTube video, they seem so happy, so loving. And this is why I say social media is so deceiving. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, you'll see what you want to see. You don't see the real life nitty-gritty side of things. I do it. I'm guilty of it. But don't compare your life to other people's lives, because you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And I must say, Gabby did a great job at editing this video. I assume it was her. More on that later, but she did a great job. She was so creative, and while they were gone, Abby stayed in very close contact with her family. She either texted her siblings or mom, dad, called them on a regular basis. Someone in their family spoke to Gabby every day of her trip. On June 17th, Gabby and Brian went back to their hometown of Blue Point, New York for, I believe it was Gabby's brother's graduation. And then on July 2nd, Gabby and Brian left in their van to start their van life journey. They left and were expected to end this journey in Oregon around Halloween. More on that later. And on July 5th, they ended up at Monument Rocks in Kansas. They stopped at Colorado Springs, Grand Sand Dunes, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon. They went all through there. And on July 30th, they ended up at the Mesa Arch. And she told her friend then that she was in Utah. Now, August 12th was the day of this domestic disturbance.
Sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with a white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's
about
it at?
5'6", beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what do you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Gabby.
Gabby, Brian, okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday, and camping got the stuff, flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving, I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, ma'am?
Yeah. Oh, it was, some days, I have really bad OCD, and
Okay.
I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him.
He slapped her, and he is super calm in this video, and she is clearly upset. And I would be too if I just got slapped in the face. And I feel like then the cops should have definitely done some more digging around. Like, if you are familiar with domestic violence, you know that gaslighting and the other person staying calm while they say everything to the other person to trigger them, push their buttons, get them to blow up like that, make them lose control or feel like they're losing control, that's a thing. And then the next day, August 13th, that was Brian's last Instagram post that I saw, and allegedly he was in Moab, Utah. And then on August 17th, I saw this in the Facebook group. It's Gabby Petito's Facebook group, that somebody saw or heard, and rumors, theories, I don't know, but take this with a grain of salt. On August 17th, it was said that Brian left Salt Lake City and flew to Florida to move some things out of a storage unit into his parents' house where Gabby and Brian were staying so that they could save money. I don't know, again, how accurate that is. I don't think it was confirmed. On August 19th, the first video that they did on their YouTube channel was uploaded. And then August 21st, Gabby's dad ordered pizza for them at the hotel. 3 days later, it was said that a couple did check out of that hotel on August 24th at the Fairfield Inn. And that was the last time, I believe, that Gabby's mom actually heard her voice. And then August 25th, the next day, Gabby posted a picture of her holding a pumpkin, super cute pictures, and it said Happy Halloween. Now, their trip, remember, was supposed to end around Halloween. This is not Halloween. This was the end of August, and I find that extremely weird why that caption says Happy Halloween, and then she went missing. And the last time Gabby FaceTimed her mother, she was in the Grand Teton area. On August 26th, Gabby's Instagram liked 2 of her friends' pictures. And then the next day, August 27th, Gabby sent a Snapchat to one of her friends saying that they were on the way to Yellowstone. Now, August 30th, Gabby's mom did get a text message from Gabby's phone. She says that she doesn't believe that it was Gabby or the last few text messages even were her daughter. But that text message said there was no service in Yosemite. Yosemite is in California, thousands of miles away from Yellowstone. where they were supposed to be going. So was it a typo, autocorrect? Was it not Gabby? And then on September 1st, North Point Police Department confirmed that Brian showed up back in Florida at his parents' house with no Gabby, but in Gabby's van. He did not answer any questions, and he immediately hired an attorney. His parents weren't talking. Brian's not talking. Gabby's parents are wondering where their daughter is because he was the last person to see her, but he's not speaking. Like, how frustrating and cruel is that? Like, they just want to know where their daughter is. I firmly believe if you are not guilty, you speak. Like, you have nothing to hide. You have no reason to be silent. Just talk. And on September 10th, Gabby's mom did try to reach out to Brian and his mom, but she was ignored. And then the following day, September 11th, Gabby was officially reported a missing person. And the FBI did take the van into their custody. Now, on September 13th, Gabby's mom and stepdad did a press conference begging anybody with any information to please call the FBI and let them know anything that you saw or heard or anything. September 16th, which is a Thursday, Brian's sister speaks, and she is the only one in that family to ever say anything. And all she really said was she hopes that Gabby is found. She loves her like a sister, and that was that. And their house was full of protesters. Like, there were people screaming, wondering where Gabby is, demanding for answers. And I'm sure that does make it incredibly difficult for law enforcement to do their job. Like, the public wants answers now. We don't like to wait for answers, impatient. But stuff like this does take time. They can't just rush in on a missing person and arrest somebody because they were the last person to see somebody. And Friday, the next day, this past Friday, it was announced that Brian is missing. So on Thursday, the Newport Police Department did say that they knew where Brian was. They knew of his location and everything. But then come Friday, he's reported missing. His parents say that Brian came home Tuesday. He left the house to go for a hike, and he never came back. They searched for him, and they went to the Carlton Reserve, which is 25,000 acres of swamp and forest and stuff. They saw his Mustang. They brought his Mustang home, continued to search for Brian, and then the next day is when they reported him missing. Gabby's family's attorneys, they do believe that Brian is hiding, and I tend to think that is what is going on. I think he's hiding from everything, but it's going to follow you, and I hope he does not do anything stupid. Let's talk about this Miranda Baker on TikTok. She did post a TikTok this past weekend saying that on August 29th, around 5:30 p.m. in the Grand Teton Cutler Bay area, her and her boyfriend picked up Brian, who was hitchhiking. He approached their vehicle, asked if he could have a ride to Jackson, which locals know as Jackson Hole. They said sure, they were going there anyway. He hopped in the car, and during their small talk, Brian said that he was hiking for the last couple of days, and he had no food, no water, nothing. He was using a tarp to sleep in, and just a backpack is all he had, and it looked pretty empty. He was hiking along Snake River. He did say that his fiance Gabby was back at the van working on their social media page, but Miranda said he did not look dirty. He did not smell dirty. The only thing dirty on him were his boots. Also, Jackson is roughly 10 miles away from where they picked Brian up, and he offered him $200 for a ride. Like, 10 miles away, $200. Why do you want to get out of that area so bad? So they got to about the Jackson Dam area, and Miranda, in casual conversation, mentioned, hey, we're going to Jackson Hole too, and he completely flipped out. Brian freaked out, begged to get out of the car, said he needed to leave. So they pulled over, let Brian out, and he was like, don't worry about it, I'm going to get a ride with somebody else. And they left, which is very odd. Like, why he freaked out because they were going to Jackson Hole. Now, real quick, I do want to mention something, and I believe they did say that it was not connected, but y'all, this is just way too weird to be a coincidence. So around the time of Brian and Gabby's dispute in Moab, Utah, 2 newlyweds were found, Crystal and Kylan, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, but they camped at unregulated campsites. They were in Utah, and Crystal worked at this co-op where this dispute call was from. Like, it was the same address. But this couple was found. Family did say that Crystal did mention that they were really uncomfortable because this guy was making them very uncomfortable walking around their campsite, and then all of a sudden this. So it'd be interesting to know for a fact if Gabby and Brian got separated the night of their dispute. Now, I know the cops usually make, you go your own ways once a dispute has gone on, or you go to jail. So that would be interesting to know, but if the cops say it's not connected, I guess it's not connected. Now, I also want to talk about Gabby's friend, Rose Davis. They met on Bumble and Bubble, I think like a year and a half ago, and they instantly hit it off. Rose said that they did everything together and became best friends. She said that, with hanging out with Gabby, she got close to Brian, and said that Brian was really sweet, caring, and that you could tell that they both loved each other a lot. But there was something a little off about Brian, just a little weird, but she couldn't figure out just his personality. Like, for instance, they would all go to the beach. Brian would set up their hammock, super nice, but then he wouldn't even sit with them. And he also had quite of a jealousy issue. And this is all alleged, but Rose said that he didn't like Gabby to have friends and even tried to break their friendship up multiple times. Gabby and Rose also shared their location with each other through an app on their iPhone, and just, in case one of them got lost, she said. And Brian found out about this and flipped his crap and made Gabby delete this app. Rose said that Brian was always worried that Gabby was going to leave him, and made Gabby come home for dinner when she was at Rose's house, like would cut their time short so that Gabby would be home for dinner time. When she was hanging out with Rose, Rose would go to offer to take her home, but Brian insisted on coming to pick her up, and said that they would argue and Gabby would get upset, just like in the video. But she also said that one of the times that Gabby got upset like that in the video was this time that Gabby and Rose decided to go to a local bar in Sarasota to go line dancing. On the way there, Gabby noticed that her ID wasn't there. They turned around, went back to her house. She confronted Brian, and Brian admitted that he took it because he didn't want her to go out. She was hysterical. She slapped him. He pushed her. So there has been situations like this in the past, allegedly. Rose said within the first year of Gabby and Rose's friendship that Gabby came over at least 7 to 10 times to spend the night with Rose because they would be fighting. And because of this, it was said that Gabby did push off their engagement, and they decided to just remain boyfriend and girlfriend right now. He did not support her in her vlog or anything, and that breaks my heart. Y'all, get a man or a woman that will support you and be your biggest fan. So this past weekend, a YouTuber, Red, White, and Barthune, they captured, and this between Miranda's TikTok and this YouTube channel, like, wow, this is the power of social media. Social media can be very, very good like this, but it can be very, very toxic. So this YouTube channel, they have this van life also. They travel, they do their documents, and she was filming a video on August 27th. They were riding through the Grand Tetons, and when she was editing it, she realized that Gabby's van was in this video. She let police know, and I think that is how they pinpointed where to search for Gabby. Now, I do want to say, it's been going around, I saw on social media, that I want to get y'all's opinion. I have no clue. I don't know. I can't tell. My husband thinks that it could possibly just be the ladder on the back of the van, but I want y'all's opinion. So let me know down below. I'm going to put a picture up here in the video to slow it down. But possibly people are saying on this Facebook page that somebody opens the back of the door. You know how vans go like this and they open in the middle. Somebody says that they saw somebody closing the back of the van door. And again, I don't know if it's like the shadow or the ladder, or if it is actually somebody closing the door. What do y'all think? This past Sunday, September 19th, FBI and police were searching the Grand Teton area. At noon, they found a body.
My name is Charles Jones. I'm the supervisory senior resident agent here in Wyoming for FBI Denver. This is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter. As FBI personnel, in coordination with our partners at National Park Service, the Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department, have been conducting an investigative activity consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found.
They obviously cannot say 100% that it is Gabby because they have to wait, you know, for DNA tests and all that sorts of stuff. But his voice was so shooken up and he looked heartbroken and so sad to announce this news. Y'all, it's getting me emotional because I just think of myself in that position with my daughter, and I would lose my mind. Like, I would lose it. It will probably take a few weeks to know what exactly happened, how she passed away, and we will know more later on as time goes on because the affidavit will get released and why they were there, what made them go there, what they found there, all that sort of stuff. It will get released to the public. And in my opinion, Brian's parents need to get charged because something is going on here that's not right. And as of right now, on Monday, September 20th, I meant to get this up, but y'all, it was moving so fast that I was taking down as many notes as I could. And then I heard that she was possibly found. So I just decided to wait until now to film this video. But I will continue to keep you updated. But as of September 20th, I'm sorry I keep playing with my hair. But as of September 20th, they did do a search warrant on Brian's family's house. They made Brian's parents leave the house, and they did take some boxes, and they took the Mustang that we mentioned earlier. And y'all, the police know way more than they are saying. We do not know everything that's come out, nor should we. This is an active investigation, and in order to prosecute whoever needs to be prosecuted, they've got to be tight-lipped on stuff like this. Like, it's, speaking of, I don't know if any of y'all saw this live footage where one of the police officers at the North Point Police Department in Florida mentioned the missing person case of Gabby, and he went to say something about her missing, but he said homicide. And this was before her body was even found. So in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think that they are treating this as a homicide. They know it is, but they're just not announcing that to the public. They don't want to announce anything for several reasons. But the FBI and local law enforcement at North Point are still asking if you have seen their van, you saw Gabby, Brian, you came in contact with them, anything like that, look through your pictures, videos, everything. And if you see any credible information, to please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. And again, my thoughts and prayers, good vibes, everything I have to give to this family goes out to them. I hope they get justice for this beautiful girl. Like, she was so talented, had so much life to live, and my heart goes out to them, and I hope they get answers soon. And I know I'm not alone when I say this, but if I could talk to Brian or his parents, please, I would be begging them to come forward with information. Like, don't do this to this family. Put yourself in their shoes. If Brian went missing and Gabby came home without him, what would y'all be doing? Like, they're gonna watch little old my channel. And y'all, I appreciate y'all so very much for watching and all your continued support. I love y'all so, so, so much. If you haven't subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe and hit that notification bell just so you get notified whenever I upload a video, and give this video a thumbs up. It will help support my channel. Y'all don't settle for less than y'all deserve. I love y'all, and I will continue to keep y'all updated. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, y'all.